Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm your host, Alex Harriman, here with my co-host, Jerrika Alex. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Jer, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. What are you up to?
I kind of haven't really told you guys this, but I'm stressing because I'm planning a wedding. And it's pretty wild because I'm the type of person, I'm sure you're not surprised, but I like to do things like this. Like, it's not surprising that I'm planning a wedding in 2.5 months. I'd rather stress for 2.5 months than a year. So here we are.
That's so typical of you.
It's like, I was just, I said to my fiance, I was like, we're going to have another baby at some point, and I want to get back in shape. Like, so I'm not going to get married for 3 years. Let's just do it this October. And then, of course, he laughs and says, sure, because that's me. So here we are.
Well, it sounds like you guys are a good fit for each other if you can,
Yeah.
also operate in a 2-month notice for a wedding.
Yeah. Well, he also knows that I'll do most of it. And my sister-in-law is like the best wedding planner. So I feel very lucky to have her. So it takes the stress off a little bit.
Oh, that's super cool. Well, I can't wait to
It'll be small, so it's not like I'm not crazy. It's just gonna be some like family and a few close friends, but it'll be fun.
well, we'll share all of the pictures on social media, guys, so keep your eyes open.
Yeah, I won't be I won't be in my wedding dress in the rain like our recent client Lisa was doing. That those are beautiful, but I wouldn't be able to do it.
Her
She's
pictures
crazy.
are so awesome. I'm
so cool. Shout out to Lisa. Lisa, if you're listening, it's so cool.
Yeah, I agree. She had the best pictures.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this thing. So today I want to talk a little bit about the power of whole foods. There's a couple different directions we can take this, but it's something that's like, I think ever since the like if it fits your macros movement, it's kind
Right.
of been a hot topic and something that's a little bit confusing or misleading to people.
I agree, and I think that it's almost become like a forgotten topic, because oftentimes in the fitness industry and people who follow all these accounts, especially the younger crowd, they typically follow like the younger fitness influencers. They typically do that if it fits your macros. And again, we are big promoters of balance is key, and a little bit of everything is in moderation is great. But it's for those that we coach that are maybe a little bit older or experiencing some health issues, and eating a little bit of everything might not fit with their lifestyle, and we kind of lose sight of the benefits of the whole foods. So I love this topic, and I'm excited to dive in. And there's a new study that just came out recently that I want to talk
about. Oh, cool. Okay, so then my preface is going to be, when we look at if it fits your macros, for those of you who don't understand or haven't done that before. So basically what happens is you have a certain amount of calories per day, and you have a certain goal with proteins, carbs, and fats to hit each day. You can hit these goals with high quality food. You can hit these goals with shit food. And if you do that, your body composition will still change accordingly. Now, there's other factors that come into play, though. So there's macronutrients, which is our proteins, our carbohydrates, our fats. There's also micronutrients, which is our vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that come with the food. So something like fruits and vegetables are very low calorie, which means they're also very low macronutrient, but they're very high micronutrient.
and fiber.
They have a lot of fibers, they have a lot of vitamins and other nutrients that help make us feel good, help improve our skin quality, our hair quality, our how tired we feel. So this is, although not really considered in an if it fits your macro diet, plays a massive role in the way that we feel day to day, the way we operate day to day, which
energy levels.
Yeah, which gets lost a little bit when we're just hyper focused on those four specific numbers.
Right, you can see people make videos, or I've seen like, I'm going to eat McDonald's 3 times a day and still hit my macros and still lose fat, because it absolutely is still possible, right? Because we've talked about in previous podcasts, calories in, calories out, and what that equates to, and if you're under or over losing fat or gaining fat. But what these people in these videos don't talk about really is how they're feeling. Like, yes, they're losing fat, but like, how are you feeling in this journey? Are you lethargic? Are you not sleeping well? Are you restless? Now all of a sudden you have the sweats. Like, your body's just doing these different processes that aren't aren't ideal, would be the right word.
On top of that, if you look at like what 1500 calories worth of McDonald's looks like versus 1500 calories worth of like lean meat, protein, fruits, and vegetables, you're going to have largely different quantities of food. And so you might get like a meal or a meal and a half at McDonald's for 1500 calories. So imagine that right now being like the amount of food you could intake in an entire day. One and a half McDonald's meals. And how hungry you would be only
By the
eating
end of the
one and a
day.
half McDonald's meals. Now, on the flip side, imagine like virtually unlimited fruits, vegetables, and protein, still following under 1500 calories. Like it isn't obviously unlimited, but if we're looking at like cruciferous vegetables and things that are low calorie vegetables, you can eat those until the cows come home, until you're like stuffed. And then pair that with like a 200 calorie chicken breast or a 300 calorie
Yeah,
chicken breast, and that could be, you would be stuffed off of that for probably 5 to 600 calories. So
right.
then you
Yeah,
can still do that twice more in the same day, have a massive feeding 3 times for that same 1500 calories. So do both of them create the opportunity for weight loss and fat loss? Absolutely. Do both of them play out the same in the way we feel, how hungry we are, how our body performs, how our body feels? Not even close.
yeah. Like, this is kind of what I want to dive into about the study I just saw post up. I think it was the British Medical Journal posted it, and they basically looked at um, so all different countries throughout the world. They had a large amount of them, but obviously Canada, US, we'll look at them. And they looked at ultra processed food, so the countries that consumed ultra processed food. So we're not even just talking processed. So processed would be like canned vegetables with, like our canned soups and tunas and things like that. They're talking ultra processed things with like highly chemical, highly additives, like your Mr. Noodles packs, or like things that are just been totally changed in color. So just ultra processed. The U.S. they consumed 58 or 60% of their diet, of their calories in that day, were ultra processed. And
Hmm.
then Canadians, I think, were right there with like 50%. So let's say you're someone that consumes 2,000 calories. 1,000 of those calories are coming from like things full of absolute crap. Like, it's just insane. And then you look at countries like I'm trying to think of just, Middle Eastern, that are just utilizing whole foods, and they're at like 10%, 5%. Like, it's just, I mean, we can't get away from the big food company, the big food industry. Like, we can't, like, it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, you drive down the street, it's on every poster, it's on everything you look at. But I think what's important here is that we're just educating ourselves. Like, this study isn't shocking. It's like, we know, yes, we eat a lot of processed foods as a country, but it's about learning like what is actually hidden in these foods, and just educating yourselves, because it's wild. Like, and the category, I should link it to this podcast, because it's pretty cool. They put it in a graph with ultra processed, and they did processed, and they did like like they kind of categorized them all to each country,
Yeah.
and they showed how some other countries actually like label right on the food, like whether it's ultra
Mhm.
processed. So then you grab the food and you're like, okay, I know what I'm dealing with, because some people just aren't educating themselves the way that it's pretty confusing to see some of these words, right? So some countries really simplify it for you, and they put it right there in the article. So it was interesting to see the differences across different countries,
And
and
that
we're right up in their top three.
that
for
all just comes
worse.
down to like government regulations too, because obviously like
Absolutely.
these companies don't want to write ultra processed. The cigarette
No.
companies don't want to put a picture of somebody dying on the front of the pack of their cigarettes. That's a government mandated thing.
Yes.
So Canada and the United States are not valuing quality of food the same way
That's
that some of these European countries are.
European countries. Yeah.
So what do we take from this? Because a lot of people are going to listen to this and get that all or nothing thinking and be like, oh my God, I can't eat any more ultra
Right.
processed foods. That's probably not going to happen. And we're not
Exactly.
even here trying to tell you to do that. But if you know that your current diet is 50% ultra processed, like, do you have the capacity to turn it into 40%? Because that would have a huge, huge impact over time on the way that you look and the way that you feel. And now, could we eventually strive to get that lower? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean it has to be tomorrow because everybody's going to be like trying to fix this, getting stuck in the all or nothing thinking, this is too hard. I can't do this. I can't live like this. And you fall back into the old habit of eating those old comfort foods. And it's a vicious cycle. But the idea of changing 5 to 10% of the way you eat at a time isn't that overwhelming.
I'm glad you said that because alongside this, where I saw this article, it was also posted about food happiness. There's an article on food happiness and, choosing bland, whole foods and cooking them very boring and just eating it day in and day out. That can also lead to binging later on these ultra processed foods and actually going into the polar opposite direction. So they talked about food happiness and being able to, like we always talk about, enjoying things in moderation, but it plays a really big factor on if what you're eating, if you enjoy what you're eating. So even if you are choosing a more whole food approach, 80-20%, 80-20 rule, making sure it still tastes, you're still enjoying the flavors. And there's so many ways that we can make things taste a bit better. Or just if you don't want to eat the broccoli, don't eat the jam broccoli. Like there's other options that you can enjoy and that are still beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Um, and like it's not about forcing yourself to eat these things. Like it's not what we're preaching here.
Absolutely. And so like Jared just talked about the 80-20 rule being like 80% of our food should come from whole healthy foods, 20% should come from like the comfort foods and the foods that we just want to eat. If you're so far from that feels like alarming and overwhelming, then just change it by 5% at a time.
Yeah.
Wherever you are on that spectrum, if you're currently eating 10% whole healthy foods and 90% junk food, switch it to a 15-85 this week and do that for a while. Then switch it to a 20-80 and start working your way towards that 80-20 as an end goal. But we never ever want it to be 100-0. Like 100-0 isn't sustainable. So make those 5 to 10% changes and start to think and pay attention to the way that that changes how you feel. Because I guarantee if you've got 200 extra calories to spend and you spend it on a sweet potato or you spend it on a bag of chips, I guarantee it changes the way you feel and the way that you perform and how tired you are and how your body recovers and repairs from the exercise and the demands that you put on it. And this is a small scale because you're still going to have things like chips occasionally, but it's when we start making these small 5 to 7% changes time after time, week after week, that they start to compound and we all together start to feel exponentially different.
And you might be sitting there thinking like, what's 5 to 10%? Like, what the hell is that? How does that apply to my life? It literally is maybe eating carrot sticks alongside your French fries. Like it's that small of an addition. It's just that will, like Alex said, compound and compound later on. But right now, it's just something as simple as grabbing and adding it to maybe what you're eating. You might not even be taking anything out yet, right? It's just maybe grabbing the vegetable, adding in the fruit, throughout the day. Just give yourself a little those micronutrients, maybe a little boost of energy.
That's a really good reminder. Is like focusing on adding rather than removing because we can add fruits and vegetables for very low calories. So to remove, like to continue eating the way you're eating, remove 150 calories from what you are going to eat and add 150 calories from fruits and vegetables. So you're not even eating less, you're eating the same amount of calories. You're now getting more quantity. You're going to be more full, you're going to feel better. That's one thing that people often neglect is like I'm eating like garbage already. So this is my meal and I'll get focused after. There's nothing saying you can't add carrots to that meal or add broccoli to that meal or add salad to that meal that's already not in line with your goals, because those small changes do have a very, very great impact. And then circling back to that conversation we had about macronutrients. So the goal would be like, okay, stay under 2000 calories a day and hit 150 grams of protein per day. Now, a lot of the foods that are created to be high protein, that are supplements and things like protein bars and protein shakes and things like that, they have a lot of protein in them. They help us get to that protein goal, but they're usually very low in the other nutrients, the micronutrients that we talked about
Yeah.
earlier. They usually don't come with the zinc and the iron and the other things that we can get from meat or vegetarian protein options. So I'm not here telling you not to have those options, because I think it's really hard to hit your protein goal without using some form of supplementation. But we don't want to get stuck in that trap of like, oh, it's just a number. I just have to hit my 150 grams of protein no matter
Right.
what. Because 150 grams of protein from protein shakes is going to leave you feeling a lot different than 150 grams of protein from like beans, lentils, a steak, and a chicken breast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, don't get me wrong, it's going to happen some days, right? You're going to have a really busy day and maybe you pack two shakes. I'm not saying that's something you're going to do every day. But that comes, circles back to our moderation conversation we had earlier, just about doing maybe what's convenient in that day, but then the next day, okay, let's start prepping our chicken again, or what have you. But
And I
um,
mean, just to like ease your guys' minds, like I have supplemented protein every single day.
yeah,
I
yeah,
put
me
some,
too.
I have it every single day, but it's not the majority of my protein. It
Absolutely.
make
Yeah.
it helps me hit my protein goal. It's a portion of my protein. It's not the majority. There are days where it is the majority because it's like Jer said, like a crazy day. There's nothing wrong with supplementing your diet with protein. It should be a supplement though. It's not the main part of your diet. So just keep that in mind. There's so many healthy, easy options like canned fish or eggs, which cook super fast, or Greek
Yeah.
yogurt,
My go-to.
cottage cheese, things that require like zero preparation that still allow us to hit that protein goal just as fast as a protein shake, and also gives us that power of whole foods that we mentioned.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, I hope this isn't overwhelming for you guys. Like I know a lot of us eat poorly, and a lot of us even feel like we eat pretty well, but then we're like, oh yeah, I don't really eat fruits and vegetables. Like this is all we're asking you guys to do is step outside your comfort zone a little bit and start adding those fruits and vegetables. Start slowly shifting the dial of how much food comes from processed versus whole, and pay attention to the way that you feel, the way you recover, the way you perform as a result.
Awesome.
Okay, what do you got for a closing tip today, Jay?
Something I've been doing since getting back into my fitness regimen post baby is, motivation's been fairly low some days. And I've been just setting the damn timer. And I just tell myself that, like, set the damn timer, like whatever, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and do X, like do your squats, 5 minutes. Like it might not even be a legit workout that I would normally write and do and used to feel proud of, but now I'm feeling proud of maybe 5 minutes of squats and push-ups. The timer though, it like brings out my inner child or something. Like I feel like we all have it. It's just like you just stop thinking and you do. And I don't know what it is about seeing that countdown. You just do it. Um, I've even been using like songs. Okay, you're gonna do this workout for this song. The song flies by and you end up doing, I'm like, no, I'm gonna do another song, and I'm gonna do another song. I end up getting 3 rounds of it instead of two or instead of one. It's just like something simple I've been doing to incorporate more movement into my day.
Welcome to being a parent.
Yeah, that's
This,
funny.
this, yeah, that's something I've done since Emerson's been born. Like I have specific strength movements that I plan on doing. So like
Yeah,
my workout for the day was planned to be squats plus X, Y, and Z. On a busy day, it's like, okay, just the squats happening. I'm just doing
yeah.
just the squat today. And that's my workout. And there's lots of days I just get in that main movement. But guys, it's so much better than nothing. Like get that through your
So
head.
much.
It's so
It's
much
crazy the
better.
changes I've already noticed just by getting in my what I pretty much do like one strength movement every day. Sometimes I'll like get a superset, so I'll do two in that 20-minute window or whatever I have. And you feel so much better, and I've already started to see changes. So you don't need a lot to get started, guys, and I think that's a really good reminder.
I felt crazy saying that to people when I was a new parent because like I remember the way I felt. I'd be like, you just did squats, but that was your whole workout was just squats. But then when you start talking to other parents, like it's such a realistic tool. And
Yep.
not just parents, anybody who is crazy busy, like it's a realistic tool during these hard times.
Yeah, I use it. Been using it every day, and it's awesome.
Awesome.
Saving me.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope you found it helpful. If you're curious about how to apply these things and how to actually start making the shift, this is what we do in Breaking 90 Fitness. This is what we do day in and day out with our clients. This is why our clients have such amazing results. We're not selling a crazy cleanse or detox or magic solution. We're teaching people how to actually do the things that are going to change your life for the rest of your life. If that's what you're looking for, send me a DM with the words Whole Foods, and I'll help you apply this to your life and teach you how to do this in your own life. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day.